Our next speaker is Katya Vladislavleva. She's CEO and Chief Data Scientist at DataStories, a predictive analytics company. And together with her team, Katya tries to change predictive analytics from a complex game into something that everybody can play. And she's going to present us a hands-on approach from transformation to all-inclusiveness.
Thank you. Thank you very much. What do I press here? I'm back. Okay. Thank you for inviting me here again. It's the second year I'm giving a talk at the Data Innovation Summit, and it's the second time it is on happiness. Philippe now challenged me to give a talk on gender diversity, women in data science, and make it relevant for this summit on digital transformation. It was super hard. I could talk a lot and easily about digital transformation. We do a lot of it. I could talk about gender diversity and how important it is to sustain life. But with gender diversity, I mean genetic, with gender diversity we only have 2 genders, and it was very hard. So I decided to talk about all-inclusiveness. I like the word inclusion much better than diversion. I think it's more constructive. So what is all-inclusiveness? All-inclusiveness is a multidimensional inclusion, is a multidimensional process that is targeted and at enabling open and free participation of every member of society in all aspects of life. And I say, let's try to do this today. And I think the organizers have already started. Let's try to make this an open and all-inclusive place for men and women in all aspects of business, of data transformation. So I was thinking, why is it so hard for me to prepare a talk on gender diversity? And I think it's because women, I am a data scientist. Women in computing go through so many troubles and difficulties, and in fact there is a lot of pain involved, while men are completely unaware of it. And let me give you one example from my life. So it's a real life story, and I get it once a year at least, even in our open-minded, pluralistic and politically correct Belgium. Once a year, so after a great talk or lecture, I come to a male speaker and I say, I loved your talk. I also do research on advanced predictive analytics. Do you know what I hear back? I have a girlfriend. And you know, this is now ridiculously funny, and now I have the story prepared on how to steer the discussion into a more productive one. But 10 years ago, I was walking home after an event like this, crying, and having only one question: what is wrong with me? Do I need this stuff? What is happening? And you know, I have given, this is true, and I don't think I'm alone here. So there is pain. And I've been thinking on why women quit, because clearly they do quit after school, they don't go to engineering education, they stop fighting for for leadership positions. And only recently I found a very good reason. So in her talk, Reshma Saujani, who is a co-founder of Girls Who Code initiative, gave a brilliant reason for this. She says, it's because we socialize and raise girls to be perfect. And we socialize and raise boys to be brave. If you are perfect, if you need to be perfect, you cannot fail. You do not make mistakes. But if you are about to write a computer program, you will fail 100 times before it starts working. A friend of Reshma, who is Levi Brie, he is a professor at University of Columbia. He teaches Introduction to Java to computer science students. And he says, when students come to him during the office hours with a problem, the male student says, Professor, my code doesn't work. There is something wrong with it. When a female student comes, she says, Professor, my code doesn't work. There is something wrong with me. And this is so deep that I think we need to take action, and we need to take it now. And the issue is that it's not going to be easy. It is super hard. The women's brains are wired differently. They are wired to sense the minuscule tensions in the tone of voice, the minuscule changes in the facial expressions. So it's like a 2-year-old girl who is trying to open a drawer. She hears her mother say, "Don't do this." She would feel the minor changes of the tone of voice, feel the alarm and stop it. Well, you will need to physically restrain a 2-year-old boy from opening that drawer. I'm generalizing it, of course, there are exceptions, and we are in this together. But it is hard, and it doesn't take a lot of talking to put a young woman off. So let's watch how we say and what we say. So I wanted to talk, and then on top of this, there is a gender issue. There are gender stereotypes. And let's look at my university. One of my degrees is from Eindhoven, how they picture a data scientist. So this is a beautiful picture from a data science center at Eindhoven. You see a sexy specimen, Homo data scientificus. You go further and there is another picture of a female data scientist. Prepare. This is a female data scientist. A perfect, so all the words are there, but imagine a young person who is choosing a profession. Would a girl want to be this thing with a hole in the chest? Think about it. So the gender bias is so deeply ingrained in us, and I'm not saying it is bad. It is what it is. We have to live with it, also because we have these evolutionary problems. The scientists Fisi and Kellerman, they did a study in 2000 to check that it is deeply ingrained in family storytelling. They analyzed families and discovered that boys in the families are a lot more likely to be told stories of autonomy and achievement, while girls of relationships and support. That fathers in families are a lot more likely to tell stories about mastery and success, while mothers' stories were mostly an expression of an emotion. Let's do something about it, and we have to do it now. There is another wonderful article written by 2 early childhood scientists from University of California. In this article, also recommend to read it, I made a startling discovery for myself. Did you know that we, children, start forming a gender identity between the ages of 3 and 5? So then we realize that we are girls or boys. But immediately at that moment, the gender stereotypes start forming, and they are completely rigid. They are ready by the age of 7. So 7-year-olds are as shaped as they will ever be in terms of gender stereotypes. What does it mean? It means that we need to start really early. And the only thing that we can do is to be role models, to show unbiased interactions towards girls and boys of our own and other children, to be encouraging, to respect differences, to not be patronizing and not be snobby. Let's do this today. And I think, I'm sure you know, they're listening to every word we say, and not when we try to be role models, but at any second, how we say it and what we say it. Beautiful slide, it was hidden, there was no time, I think I will run out of time. It's just something that Lego said in 1992, a plea to parents. The urge to create is equally strong in all children, boys and girls. And a lot of boys like doll houses, they are more human than spaceships. A lot of girls like spaceships, they are a lot more exciting than doll houses. Let's think about it. So another special message to men. Valerie Barr has this beautiful manifesto, the 10 things men can do to be real allies for women in computing. It is inspired by the 11 things white people can do to be real anti-racist allies. And I just would like to mention 4 my favorite one. Special message to men. Men, please talk to other men in computing and outside computing, because women need a lot of allies. As supportive as you are, don't just sit and watch from the sidelines, get involved. Try to help us make the computing, data science, data innovation, digital transformation, an open and equitable place for everyone, men and women. Another thing for men, because you are a man, you get to sit at lots of tables. Don't be embarrassed about it, don't deny it, it is true. Use it, please, to choose who gets to sit there at this table with you. And also talk to girls. Talk to girls about science and math. Ask them what is going on at school. Don't sit idly when you hear that girls do not get called at a class and the teacher lets boys dominate all the techie activities. Do something. A special message to women. Be brave, be adventurous, and use your free choice. In fact, this is not just for women, for everyone. My favorite author, Bernard Werber, has a very interesting point in one of his books, Encyclopedia of Relative and Absolute Knowledge. He claims that there are 3 factors that define a human soul. The first factor is our genes, our family and society. It defines us at 25%. The second factor is karma, and karma defines us at another 25%. The remaining 50% of what defines us is our free choice. And it is so much that we can override the influence of the society or of our karma. The paradox, of course, of free choice is that people are free to not use their free choice. And my call is to use it. So another thing that I need to mention is we're up for a change. And the change has happened. And I first learned about it from Carrie Bodine, the co-author of a book, Outside In, The Power of Putting the Customer Inside Your Business. So if we look at the economic situation in the last 100 years, we first were at the age of manufacturing. If you owned the factory, you owned the business. You can think of Sony, Procter & Gamble, Ford, Mercedes. Then we moved from 1960s to the age of distribution. If you owned the distribution network, you owned the business. Walmart, UPS. Then we moved to the age of information. If you owned the information between 1990s and 2010, you owned the business. You can think of Amazon or Google. But now, Forrester claims, we have moved to an entirely new era altogether, the age of the customer. You cannot own the customer, but if you understand what your customer, what your empowered customer wants, then you can dominate in business. And my question to you is, in this age, when we need to build relationships and invest into connectedness with our customers, when we need to build smooth and tantalizing interactions, which gender do you think is better naturally equipped to move your business to success? Open question. Just to finish at the digital transformation, Forrester also gave a very good advice, a report on how to win at the age of the customer. There are 4 imperatives. You need to attain maximum customer intelligence with data analytics. You need to make sure that your customer has an excellent experience. You need to be there and be digital, and you need to embrace mobile. For us, for DataStories, we translate it into the new paradigm. We need to understand what our customers say and what they do by analyzing through the data analytics, their feedback and product behavior data. We need to understand what they experience to be proactive and target people who need our attention most. We need to do it now, so we need to do it real time, and here and everywhere through all channels. We have built a product, DataStories, that helps digital product managers to understand what happens in their customers. We're now busy, we launched the alpha version last week only. We're now busy with making sure we are legally correct and everything is configurable in our system. But in the meantime, if you have your data, which is already the customer, the user event data structured, you can use it today. Thank you very much. Find me afterwards with questions.